You're watching the Lakers Report. Harrison Graham here from Chat Sports. You can follow me on Twitter at HGrahamNFL. A lot of NFL and NBA discussion over there, so go ahead and hit me up on my Twitter page. The Lakers have been very, very busy and active during NBA free agency, so we thought we'd go ahead and hand out some grades with all the moves they've already made up to this point, which has been a lot, right? And it kind of started with the Russell Westbrook trade, which went down before the draft, and then they've added a bunch of smaller pieces: Trevor Ariza, Melo, Dwight, Malik Monk, Kendrick Nunn, a few others as well. And hey, I've got some grades to hand out on all of these moves up to this point in free agency. Let's start with the Russell Westbrook trade. I'm going to give this one a B-. I like it a lot better now than I did initially because the other moves the Lakers have made have surrounded Russ with shooters, which is what LA needed to do. Above average deal at this point. I didn't think they gave up too much just by moving Montrez, Kuzma, and KCP in a first-round pick, which was 22 overall. B-. I'm still a little skeptical on the fit next to LeBron, but really good player, obviously. If he can rein in some of his bad tendencies, I think this can work in the purple and gold. If you're hyped for Russell Westbrook being in Los Angeles, type me down in the comment section. Come on. Who's excited to see Russ throw down some tomahawks in Staples Center? Get those me's flowing right now in the comment section. So it started with Russell Westbrook on a trade, and then day one of free agency came around, and the Lakers got very, very busy. Trevor Ariza, one-year deal. Wayne Ellington, one-year deal. Dwight Howard on a cheap contract as well. Kent Bazemore in the fold also. So we'll kind of go through these moves one by one. By the way, we didn't have a Bazemore player card here. I'll give that one a C+. I'm not as high on that one. Dwight Howard, let's go ahead and give this move an A. I don't think there's any doubt that Dwight had a major impact on this team 2 years ago. They missed him last year. Montrezl Harrell was not an upgrade. He was a major downgrade. Dwight's energy, defense, ability to block shots, play with energy. He has figured out what his niche is in the latter part of his career. A move, cheap deal. He will fit in very well. Trevor Ariza, I'm going to give this one a B. His game has certainly dipped a bit in recent years, but he can still shoot the three a little bit. He's still a plus defender. He's certainly not locked down like he used to be, but 6'8", he can guard threes, he can guard some fours, he can guard some twos. He can give you some energy off the bench at this point in his career. I give this deal a B. Wayne Ellington, he also signed. Let's talk about Ellington for a minute. I thought the Lakers should have traded for him at the trade deadline last year. They did not. The Pistons held on to him. This guy can flat out make it rain from three-point range. Cheap deal. He might even start for this team. I'm going to go A- for Wayne Ellington. I really like this addition. I think he can be your starting two guard as you try and get some shooters around LeBron and Russell Westbrook. 10 points last year, around 40% from three, I believe. He can give you 20, 25 minutes a game. I like this move quite a bit. A- for Wayne Ellington. If you love what the Lakers did in free agency, and if you bleed purple and gold, go ahead and subscribe at youtube.com/LakersTV, where we cover the latest Lakers news, rumors, free agency coverage, and then, of course, it'll continue throughout the offseason and on into the 2021-2022 season. Subscribe. Don't miss any of our coverage here at youtube.com/LakersTV. Keep our tracker going here, and we'll talk about these guys one by one. Carmelo Anthony, Malik Monk, Talen Horton-Tucker, Kendrick Nunn, those last three guys, key additions to get some youth onto this roster because this is going to be one of the oldest rosters in the league with a lot of load management. Let's talk Melo. 13.5 points, 3 rebounds. He's really become a good three-point shooter, shot 41% from three this past year. 2 years ago, I would have said this could be a disaster. I like it now, though, because he has reinvigorated his game as a stretch four type. B+. I like this addition from the Los Angeles Lakers for, I assume, what is a minimum contract. I think he can give you 15 to 20 minutes off the bench, score 8 to 10 points, and shoot 40% from three. That is what you're asking for Melo at this point. The only thing missing on his resume is a NBA championship. He's won the Olympics. He's been an MVP finalist. I guess an MVP is off his resume, but other than that, he's done everything else. B+ for Melo. I think this was a good deal. Malik Monk, maybe my favorite signing. A+. You get a guy who probably hasn't even entered his prime yet for the vet minimum, and he's a 40% three-point shooter, and he's like 23, 24 years old. This is an A+. He could start instead of Wayne Ellington. I'll be curious to see who starts at the two guard. Maybe it's this next guy as well, but Malik Monk, He finally broke out last year, guys. He could have gotten, I think, $5, $6, $7, $8 million per year. He chooses the Lakers for the vet minimum. That is a home run signing by Rob Pelinka. Talen Horton-Tucker, you get another youth guard here. You bring him back. B+. I can't go A because you had to give him 3 years and over $30 million, but it's still a really good grade, well above average at B+, because this kid's on the rise. You kept him at the trade deadline last year instead of trading for Kyle Lowry, and I said at the time, if you don't trade Horton-Tucker for Lowry here, you better be able to re-sign him. They were able to do that. I was skeptical of them being able to do that after trading for Russell Westbrook, but the Lakers pulled it off. I think he's going to be a double-digit scorer next year. He can start. He can come off the bench. I think Talen Horton-Tucker is going to continue to get better. Kendrick Nunn to L.A. A. Like Malik Monk, I think he could have gotten more money. 2 years, $10 million. 2 years, 12. One of those, $5, $6 million a year. He's been one of the better scorers in Miami the past 2 or 3 years. Guys, he averaged 15 points a game last year on 48.5% shooting. That's really efficient. That's really good volume, too. I like Kendrick Nunn. He can be your backup point guard on this team. He's a score-first guy. The second unit at time was stagnant last year. I think there's a lot more depth on this Lakers roster with all of these additions that they've made up to this point. A for Kendrick Nunn. What is your favorite young addition on this roster? Type MM for Malik Monk. Type TH or THT for Talen Horton-Tucker. Type KN for Kendrick Nunn. What has been your favorite young addition for the LA Lakers? MM, THT, and KN. Let us know what you guys think down below. You look at the Lakers' current lineup, which, by the way, Marc Gasol, after Spain lost in the Olympics, did announce he will return for another season. There was some speculation maybe he would retire. He will be back. He's under contract. Maybe he starts. Maybe Dwight starts. Maybe Anthony Davis starts at the 5, and they play smaller. I'm sure Frank Vogel will mix and match and have some different lineup combinations. But if this is your starting 5, maybe Malik Monk's the 2. We'll have to wait and see. I like it, and I love all the depth pieces. Nunn, Melo, Malik Monk, Horton-Tucker. You've got Dwight coming off the bench. This is an excellent and a very deep roster, even though it's one of the older rosters in the NBA. The Lakers crush free agency. Whether it's Pelinka, whether it's GM LeBron, I don't really give a damn. This is a great free agent period for the LA Lakers. I thought they were fantastic. Team grade overall, A. I mean, after you traded for Westbrook, I was like, you're strapped for cash. Yet you sign a bunch of veteran players and some young pieces to round out this roster. You think about it. You bring back a guy like Trevor Ariza, who's played in this organization before. Wayne Ellington is a guy that can stretch the floor and play the 2 or 3 for you. Dwight Howard was great 2 years ago. He returns. Kent Bazemore, didn't talk much about him. He's a 3-and-D guy. Carmelo Anthony on a 1-year deal as he has reinvigorated his career. Malik Monk, Talen Horton-Tucker, Kendrick Nunn to join the pieces you already have in LeBron James and Anthony Davis. I love what the Lakers have done to this free agency period. My answer to this final question, or not even a question, just a statement, is grade the Lakers free agency moves. A for me. Absolutely fantastic. Now, it all comes down to Russell Westbrook in a lot of ways, but if he works, all the other moves will fall into place. A, B, C, D, or F. Hand me a grade for the Lakers free agency moves this offseason.